Monday evening, as I sat at the kitchen table with my wife, Sandra, Sandy as I call her, she had prepared a simple yet satisfying meal. A skillet was bubbling with the warmth of the roast beef from the night before, topped with crispy cauliflower cheese, just the way I liked it. She even added some pickles on the side, and to top it off, brought me a pint of my favorite beer. I suppose having a strong beer on a work night wasn't something to worry about, but I had a feeling something was about to happen, something I wasn't going to like. After spending 14 years together, I could sense that this evening might bring unexpected news. And then it happened. On Friday night, Sandy announced that she was going on a date with one of the guys from work. She quickly reassured me, though, that it was just dinner, no sex involved. My reaction was calm on the outside, but on the inside, I was furious. I couldn't shake the feeling that things in our relationship had become too routine, and I felt as though she was seeking excitement elsewhere. But I didn't want to come across as controlling. Still, I was deeply troubled. I had always believed we had a strong bond, but now, the idea of her seeking fulfillment outside our marriage was unsettling. Trying to keep my composure, I asked, why not? Sandy responded by suggesting that I wasn't taking our relationship seriously and implied that she wanted something for herself, something outside of the usual routine. Her tone made me feel as though I was being blamed for the lack of excitement in our lives. I tried to remind her of recent moments we'd shared, like when I took her to the Red Line for dinner and dancing the week before, or when we celebrated winning the pub quiz on Friday night. I thought these were things we could be happy about, yet Sandy seemed unsatisfied, and I couldn't understand why she wanted to do something for herself. She had made her choice. Sandy revealed that the guy she was going out with was Jonathan, someone from her office who had been asking her out for weeks. She had always turned him down before, but this time, she agreed to go to dinner with him. She was quick to emphasize that it would be just dinner, nothing more. But despite her assurances, I couldn't shake my suspicions. I had met Jonathan before, and from the first moment, I didn't like him. He was overly flattering, always acting like he was trying to win people over in a way that rubbed me the wrong way. I also couldn't ignore the fact that Sandy had mentioned him several times months ago, only to suddenly stop talking about him. It made me wonder if there was more to their interactions than I knew. I told her that, while it was ultimately her choice, I didn't trust Jonathan and doubted that their dinner would be as innocent as she was making it sound. I warned her that I wasn't comfortable with this arrangement, and I made it clear that if she went through with it, I wouldn't be here when she got back. Despite my disapproval, she went ahead with her plans. The following 2 days at home felt cold. The atmosphere was tense, and I felt a growing sense of unease. On Wednesday, she came home late with a couple of shopping bags from the supermarket, but she seemed to be hiding one of them, which I found odd. As she cooked dinner, I decided to take a shower, but something pushed me to take a quick peek in the far corner of her closet. There, I discovered a new satin blue dress and a package of stockings. My heart sank. I couldn't take the dress out without revealing what I'd found, but the sight of it only fueled my suspicions. It wasn't the kind of dress you wear just for dinner, especially when you're claiming there's no sexual intent involved. On Thursday, things didn't improve. Sandy told me that she and Jonathan would be leaving early on Friday, so by the time I got home from work, she would likely already be gone. She probably didn't want me to see her in that dress. The entire situation felt like it was spiraling out of control. I couldn't take it anymore and confronted her. I told her that if she went through with the date, I wouldn't be there when she got back. I was resolute, no sex or no sex. It didn't matter. I couldn't let this continue without making it clear how much I disapproved. The night before her date, I planned to leave the house early so I wouldn't have to deal with her. However, I returned home early that Friday evening, not expecting to see her. Her car was parked outside, and when I went inside, I took a moment to make my presence known. After a few minutes, I went up to the bedroom, and there she was, standing there in that satin dress. She looked breathtaking, undeniably stunning, and I couldn't ignore her beauty. But then it hit me like a ton of bricks. This wasn't just dinner. She had gone all out, dressing as if she were preparing for something far more intimate than what she had promised. I picked up the empty package of stockings from the bed and, with a heavy heart, confronted her. "So, you're not planning on sleeping with him, but you're going out looking like you're ready to be hired for the night." I couldn't suppress the feeling of betrayal. It wasn't just the dress or the stockings, but the fact that she had lied to me about everything. I didn't want to use harsh words, but it felt wrong, like she had crossed a line I could never unsee. There was still time for her to change her mind. Maybe, just maybe, she'd realize how deeply this hurt me and back out. Sandy's partner was furious and pressed her, accusing her of using their joint money to dress up for Jonathan. He questioned her motives, pushing her to admit she was seeking something more exciting. Sandy denied that Jonathan was her boyfriend, but her partner wasn't buying it. The tension escalated as he gave her an ultimatum. If she left, their relationship would be over. Sandy hesitated, but Jonathan, who was with her, encouraged her to leave, extending his hand. This moment seemed to force Sandy into making a decision, and, to her partner's shock, she chose to walk out, ending their relationship in one decisive step. Her partner, crushed by the betrayal, handed her divorce papers, removed his wedding ring, and dropped it into an envelope, handing it to Jonathan with the implication that it was now Jonathan's responsibility to deliver it to Sandy. Then, without another word, he went outside and placed a for sale sign in front of the house, a final declaration that both their relationship and shared home were over. Sandy, left in stunned silence, was overcome with emotion. Tears streamed down her face as she leaned against the doorframe. Her partner didn't engage further, but went inside to grab his luggage. Before leaving, he told her he would return the next day to collect the rest of his belongings. He also warned her not to let Jonathan stay in the house. As he drove away, Sandy collapsed to the floor, heartbroken over the sudden turn of events. Jonathan, who was trying to defend Sandy, pushed her partner in retaliation. In response, her partner kicked Jonathan in the stomach with his knee, knocking him to the ground. Sandy was left crying, and her partner warned her, "Don't mess with me," before storming out. The following day, her partner returned to gather more of his things. Sandy, in a final plea, begged him to stay and even offered to help find him a new place to live. But he made it clear he felt utterly disrespected by her actions and would not wait around for her to come to her senses. He even suggested she could have half of their assets and a house he already had an offer on. Resolute, he continued packing up his things and left, determined to move on and never look back. The emotions were raw: anger, betrayal, regret, and sadness, marking the end of a tumultuous relationship. The hurt and frustration were evident in his every action, a desperate need for closure that would never come.